The topic of today's webinar is liberal education, and we have experts from all across India in our panel today who are going to tell us what liberal education is all about and how it is bringing in a new approach to the existing conventional model of education. We are also going to talk about Mindler Scholarship Hunt, which has been specially designed to identify and reward the students across various career domains and give them a launch pad to achieve their dreams. So gear up students as you're getting an opportunity to win scholarships worth over 25 crores. This scholarship hunt is absolutely free for all the students where they will get a chance to win 3,000 plus scholarship offers from the leading universities of India and abroad. Now, I would like to take a minute to introduce all the panelists and all the experts that we have with us today. First in line, we have Professor Vandana Swamy. Professor Vandana Swamy is a professor at SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, in the Eastwood School of Liberal Arts. She earned her PhD in sociology from the State University of New York at Binghamton and has also studied at Delhi University, Hindu College for her undergraduate and master's degree in political science. Dr. Swamy research focuses on 19th century colonialism in India. More recently, she is working on issues of labor migration in India. Prior to joining SRM, Andhra Pradesh, Dr. Swamy was with Azim Premji University, Bangalore and IIM Udaipur. Then we have Ms. Nupur Juneja with us, Senior Manager, Office at Undergraduate Admissions and Financial Aid at Ahmedabad University. Nupur is a dedicated higher education outreach professional, renowned for cultivating impactful relationships and spearheading strategic initiatives. With a mission centered on facilitating student success and fostering inclusive environments, she has made significant strides in enhancing the student experience. She has a bachelor's degree in English literature from Delhi University and an MBA in business analytics from IMT Ghaziabad. Prior roles at Kriya University and Universality showcased her prowess in expanding university visibility, contributing to a substantial increase in applications and overseeing a substantial revenue portfolio. Her extensive experience of 18 years also spans client success, human resources, and operations management with esteemed organizations like Veolia India, Royal Bank of Scotland, and IBM Business Process Services. With a rich background in outreach, stakeholder engagement, and strategic planning, Nupur is a driving force in higher education, continuously amplifying institutional growth and reputation. Third, we have Professor Vinay Kumar, Associate Dean, Internationalization, Thapar University of Engineering and Technology. He is a highly accomplished academician and researcher, currently serving as the Associate Head of Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences and an Associate Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. With a diverse educational background and a wealth of research, teaching, and administrative experience, Dr. Kumar has made significant contributions to the field of engineering education. Dr. Kumar has a commendable teaching and administrative track record. He has been associated with Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology since 2013, where he has played a vital role in shaping the academic landscape. Then we have Ms. Anju Deoskar, Director at Admissions Outreach at Flame University, Pune. Anju Deoskar comes from the third generation of the armed forces family and has been an educator for 18 years. She has taught in prestigious IB schools like the International School Bangalore, Indus International School, before she moved into administrative and operational roles. According to her, creativity, critical thinking, and innovation empowers learners to develop the skills they need in order to meet the requirements of a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. She holds a long experience in both teaching and administration in the education landscape. She is currently working as Director, Admission Outreach at Flame University, Pune. She heads the outreach activities pan-India and abroad. strategic planning, and communication, along with the many facets of the application and admission process. She works closely with the school counselors and educators of secondary schools, offering various national curriculums, boards, and international boards. The best part, she says, about her job remains to interact with students as they navigate their own unique college searches. Now, I would like to introduce you all to the moderator of our panel discussion, Mr. Abhishek Gulati, AVP Global Education and Strategy. Abhishek is a growth strategist who leads the global education vertical at Mindler and mentors students to help actualize their dream of an Ivy League education. He is an alumnus of University College London with exchange credentials at the London School of Economics and HEC Paris. We also have with us Ms. Mansi Tibrewal, Senior Manager at Mindler, who is going to tell you more about Mindler Scholarship Hunt by the end of this webinar. Now, I would like to hand over this platform to Mr. Abhishek to start and initiate with our panel discussion for today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kirti, and welcome everyone. I'm glad to be here with all our distinguished panelists today. Without any further ado, I quickly want to set the context for what liberal education is, and I don't think I'm the right person for doing that because I have four better people. Even though I'm aware most of you here have an idea of liberal education, but I think all of us would agree it's misused and misunderstood in a lot of contexts. So for all our panelists, just a very brief idea of what liberal education means to all of you. You can talk from your perspective or university's perspective, either way. Ms. Nupur, would you like to start first?
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you for this opportunity. And hello, everyone. First Sunday of the new year. Happy New Year to everyone. Coming to the topic, I think liberal education, we all understand, but there are certain myths about liberal education altogether. Sometimes it's thought about in a sense that it is a program that a particular university offers. So I think I want to start with bursting that myth. Liberal arts, or as we generally talk about, liberal arts isn't a program. It's basically a methodology of studying. And it's at Ahmedabad University, we just don't call it as liberal arts and sciences. We call it as liberal education. It talks about both breadth and the depth. And if I just compare it and as how we understand in the conventional programs, we have seen in the conventional way of studying, we have seen that it has always been more of a specific subject, a specific discipline as you study. However, when you study in a liberal education university, you talk about both breadth and depth. It covers both breadth and depth. It's basically the T format as we see. The standing line in the letter T is for the depth that you are able to study, and then the breadth, which basically covers the perspective building and the skill building for the students. So I'm going to just set the tone with that, and I'm going to have our professors also talk a little more because this is what they do every day in the classroom. So I think they'll be able to share more light about it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Nupur. Professor Vandana, would you like to take on from that?
Sure. Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you, Mindler, for getting us together on a Sunday to talk about something which I think is of exceedingly high importance in the world that we find ourselves in today, right? I think we all know, right? We experience this every day, but this is a very, very fast changing world, right? It is changing at a speed, which was not fathomed even 50 years ago. We were not able to fathom the pace, the scope, the depth, as well as the breadth of changes that are sweeping the planet even as we speak. So, with this change, a lot of the established systems of knowledge, the established systems of knowing that we had about the world are also being thrown up in the air. What was certain 20 years ago today finds itself in the domain of uncertainty. So, do we have a framework? Do we have a lens with which we can examine this very fast changing world, even as we remain rooted in the best traditions of humanistic exploration, right? And I think this dilemma is very beautifully answered by what we call liberal arts education, or liberal education, as your panel is naming it. And I very much, agree with Nupur that there's a lot of myth busting that needs to be involved when it comes to liberal arts education or liberal education. First of all, the word liberal has a lot of appeal, and rightfully so, right? Because it gestures towards emancipation, it gestures towards freedom. So, the cornerstone of a liberal education is the quest to become free human beings, to become creative thinkers, to be aware of what we are trying to study, and to be aware of the numerous ways in which we can study it. I think that defines liberal education, right? So it is a quest towards freedom. Farid Zakaria has cautioned us very nicely that it's not the opposite of conservative. So don't look at it as liberal versus conservative. Liberal education is a very, very old quest, going back to the Greco-Roman days, about trying to become free, participative individuals in a civil context, right? So that's where it begins. And with the advancing tide of globalization in India, also liberal arts education and liberal education has become a very recognized space. And in a very short span of time, you're seeing universities offering liberal arts degrees, and that's a very, very promising beginning, a strong beginning to a liberal arts education, responding to a changing, uncertain world full of possibilities, full of dangers, full of hope, and full of a space that we have not yet comprehended. So to pitch ourselves firmly into that, I think liberal arts education is one of the strongest spaces that is opening for all of us. And I think we should appreciate that. And I'll say more later.
No, I think that's very well presented. And the point of it's not the opposite of conventional education answers a lot of questions in hindsight as well. And I'll certainly circle back to you on this. Professor Vinay, what's your take on the topic?
Yeah, so I'll agree with both the earlier speakers. And what we see liberal arts education as, like, it's a way for broad and well-rounded education, where we try to cultivate intellectual skills and knowledge across various disciplines. So the aim of liberal education is to develop different kind of skills, maybe like critical thinking, analytical reasoning. Effective communication skills is one of the very strong foundation which is required for liberal education, and deep understanding of the diverse subjects. So when it comes to the key characteristics of liberal education, it comes with the wide bandwidth of the curriculum. We try to cover a wide range of subjects, including humanities, it touches social sciences and arts. And specifically in our school, Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, we also have computer science and data science and artificial intelligence, so which are the new age programs which recently have been inducted in the Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So what liberal arts, what we look is like, we try to develop problem solving skills. Our students should be able to tackle complex problems. They should develop analytical and critical thinking as well. And basically they should have a lifelong learning. So the goal of liberal art education is not just to impact a specific area or a specific knowledge, but to instill a love for the learning. We should equip our student with skills and curiosity, which is needed for continuous learning throughout their lives. So the basic philosophy or the approach is slightly different as compared to the conventional degree. What we look at like this, and since the approach is different, there are also distinctions which lies in the goals and curriculum and overall philosophy of liberal education.
Great. Thank you for that, Professor Rahul. I just realized your name hadn't been changed, so I've done that now for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Ms. Sanju, would love your perspective on the topic as well. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Hi, a very, very good afternoon to everyone. I'll just add a few things here. If you're looking at liberal education, again, liberal education is, like ma'am mentioned, it's not that we're doing something very, very different in terms of comparing the delivery of a program. It's the whole teaching and learning pedagogy that is at, I think, the forefront. And the world today does need both vertical thinking specialist, and also lateral thinking generalist. And there's a beautiful book by David Epstein called Range, and he really explained this beautifully in that book. And I think if we can understand the crux of that book, that's exactly what liberal education is talking about. We're talking about, like literally, what does a student do? A student, instead of registering for directly a BBA program right from day one and then continue to do that for 3 or 4 years in a university, just about the same subjects, versus a student who's studying in a liberal education university, I think this allows an early sampling period to a student, and which is, I think, sometimes better than a focused head start. A very, very crucial thing, because if you ask maybe 20 people of my generation, I've turned 50 this year, and I think 90% of us are doing something different than what we really studied. What happened actually, right? So this is something that we need to really understand. The other thing, let me tell you, all the audiences, it is not easy as the word suggests, liberal. So don't be in any kind of foggy image that, it's going to be easy. It is more challenging, because here, not only are you specializing in the subject that you choose to major or, specialize in, but you're also put into an environment where you have to explore and study a lot of things, that surround you. Because if you do not understand what the society is all about, I don't think so you can be a better specialist. So difficult learning now makes for superior performance later. Okay. The fourth point I want to say is that when we uh, are exposed to this kind of setting, I think we learn who we are when we try more things. And we also become not afraid of quitting, because, you never studied, for example, visual art class because you've been a science student always. You're not afraid to go to that studio and, create something. And once you do it, we have such fabulous, testimonials of students who say that, I never thought I would be able to do this. And then they connect that how beautifully it helps them, because now they've appreciated to appreciate aesthetics. Basically, that's so much important aspect of even the technological fields. So yes, liberal education is something which does not stand in a silo, because the world doesn't exist in silo. I mean, you have everything that you experience. I mean, whether you're talking about rain, for example, you have rain, you have art in rain, you have science in rain, you have, a business in rain. There's so much connected to rain. So how do you understand everything? And that's exactly what these universities who offer liberal education are trying to do it for almost, more than 2 decades now.
And for everyone, that's a wonderful book Ms. Anju mentioned. I think that analogy about Tiger Woods and Roger Federer is one of the best ones. And thank you for adding those points. In fact, your point, ma'am, leads me to my next question. I know I follow all your curriculums very closely. So I know all of your universities have certain majors or interdisciplinary majors which are very popular, respective to your own schools. So why don't you give an example of such majors which are very intriguing? I know some of you have introduced it couple of years ago as well, very interesting ones. Professor Vandana, would you like to start first?
Right. So at SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, the Ishwari School of Liberal Arts, psychology is among the most popular majors, right? And I think, of course, psychology is again an ancient discipline also. But the reason why it is among the top majors at SRM is again because it allows experiential learning tools to students to understand the complexities of human behavior in changing environments, right? When I was in school, I did not know the word mental health counseling, right? Even when I was in college, and then when I went to abroad to study, there was a certain, sorry to say it, but a stigma around mental health counseling. But today, in the curriculum, we have taken up questions of mental health front and center, right? We have taken up experiential learning of students in hospitals, in clinics, what is patient care, right? What is a doctor or patient interaction? How do you observe it? What do you observe a patient going through? So I think things like this, which are of course applicable in various range of domains, through psychology and through both critical psychology as well as clinical psychology. I think students are finding it to be an asset, not just while they are at SRM University, but for what the pathways it opens up for them as they move along in their future careers once they graduate, right? So that is definitely one. History, you will be very interested to know that history is also among the popular majors, right? Why? Because again, the way history was taught back in the day, it was seemed to be a dormant enterprise where you could not connect with the past, so to speak. But here, in right in a very historical, nestled as we are in a very historical location, we really take advantage of that, right? We take students to field visits, go and see ancient Buddhist caves. We take them to, old lakes, and we try to really visualize history in the present. And I know it's a complex affair, but I think just opening up that way of thinking about a subject really, helps a student um, learn more and more, not just about the world that they are surrounded in, not just about the dynamic nature of the discipline that they're studying, but what can they do with it to improve the present as well as, a nod to the future. What needs to change in order to utilize all the wonderful learning that they have so that things can be conserved, a rich sense of history, complex sense of history can be preserved even while we are looking at the future, right? So I think, I'm just naming history and psychology, but
Sure.
all of our majors at SRM have their unique excitements, and I think they all attract students. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Nupur?
So at Ahmedabad University, we have, when I said that we offer liberal education, specifically why I mentioned that is because we are offering programs across management, arts and sciences, and then we have engineering and applied sciences that we offer. So we have 4 schools present currently at Ahmedabad University. We also have a school of public health, but currently we aren't offering any courses there. But across management, arts and sciences, and engineering, you can choose. And then we follow interdisciplinary models. So while doing a major from a particular school, doing a major in a particular discipline, you are absolutely allowed to go ahead and combine it with a minor from a different discipline, a different school. And I'll give you an example. So some of the very interesting interdisciplinary programs that we offer, one of them is philosophy, history, and languages. So while studying philosophy, if you are interested in anthropology, if you are interested in studying and combining it with, let's say, heritage. So we have a center for heritage management where that particular center also offers a minor in heritage studies. So that's a very unique combination that students really opt for, where they go for a PHL, which is philosophy, history, and language, doing a minor in heritage studies. We also offer, and this is something that you would not believe, because other than Ahmedabad University in India, this combination is an often offer at, I don't think so, any other university. But while doing a major in management, let's say a student chooses to do a BBA honors program, can do a minor in general engineering and vice versa. So while doing a major in, let's say, mechanical engineering, a student can do a minor in general management. So those are the kind of cross-discipline major and minor combinations we offer. But we have more than 25 majors that we are offering across these 3 schools, across these 9 programs that we offer. And then there are more than 24 minors that we offer. I think I want to just go ahead and mention that in terms of unique programs, we have certain integrated programs also. I don't think so. I mentioned that all our programs are 4 years. So the bachelor programs are 4 years and the integrated programs are 5 years. So we offer an integrated BBA, MBA, and then there's also an integrated in life sciences. I think that is one of our most sought after programs. It's a 5-year integrated life sciences program, which basically covers the entire spectrum of chemistry and biology. So if you are interested in nanocell technology, cancer cell biology, stem cell technology, all of that, then you can probably look at opting or choosing a program in life sciences. And I think I'll share more slides and I'll share some resources that you can go to our website and you can check out the other programs. I can probably talk a little more about if someone would have a specific question.
Wonderful. That sounds very interesting as well. Miss Anju, would you like to share as well?
Yeah. So here, I think, while the university offers a very, very large, bouquet of various major minor combinations, but the interesting thing is that before at Flame University, what happens is a student, whether the student is from humanities or science or a commerce background, every single student for the first year, we do not ask them what they really want to study as a major minor in terms of registrations. So the students really explore across maybe 10 courses that they take under 5 areas of knowledge, which is humanities, social science, physical and natural sciences, global studies, and design and visual arts. So a student gets an overall perspective. Alongside, we also understand that a life of a student in a school versus university is very different. The rigor of a university life is often misunderstood by by the high school students, that okay, if I'm doing a plan to go and do BBA, my content will be slightly more difficult, and that's the only difference. But that ain't the right reason. The right answer. So when you come to a university, you actually have to be far more skilled to be able to even understand what you want to study when there's so much of choices. So in the first year, students explore all of these. And we have so many students coming to terms with themselves, saying that I 100% knew I'm coming here to study economics honors, but they land up doing advertising and branding as major, and they still take economics as a minor. So that happens when they get a chance to explore. Beside that, I think the students who come from high school come with very different skill sets. We have school students from IB, we have students from a small CBSE or a state board school from Jharkhand, or like a smaller city somewhere. And so as a university, we need to offer a leveled playground to all these students. And what we do is they have core programs for academic writing, for applied ethics or environmental science or critical reasoning or public speaking or mental models, a framework for thinking. So basically equipping these students well to do their, whether they choose a computer science as a major or a journalism as a major or anything. And again, please visit the website. We offer 27 majors and 24 minors, which adds up to almost more than 350 major minor combination. It's a very, very difficult for the university to set up an infrastructure, a soft infrastructure that, or the academic infrastructure where these big group of students coming, and we don't even know what they're going to major and minor in. And after the first year, they declare. So these are some kind of more challenging things that the university actually handles. Again, it's a 4-year degree program for all of them, with an option to exit after 3 years as per the National Education Policy. And yes, we can take more specific questions later on. I'll have some others.
Thank you for that, Ms. Anju. Professor Rahul, I would love to hear from you as well.
So in Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, basically we have 3 programs. Basically, a student can go for BSc. They can also go for BA, and they can also go for sorry. So yeah, so we have basically BSc, BA, and BBA programs. And in BSc, there are different majors which students can basically opt for. They can opt for computer science, data science, and artificial intelligence. Definitely, there is physics, chemistry, cognitive science, and mathematics. And then for BA, they can go for psychology, philosophy, economics, and then BBA is there. So the major trend, what we have seen here in Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, mostly students, they are interested in, like Professor Vandana said, there is a lot of scope and interest also, which is coming from student side in psychology. We are also running master of, sorry, MA in psychology, which is one of the very popular program in Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Apart from that, we are also bringing in various new programs, and since Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences is one of the setup in Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. So that engineering aspect, it helps a lot us to set up new kind of courses in Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So since we have started this new program in computer science and data science and artificial intelligence, a lot of skills and knowledge and experience comes from the engineering side as well into the institute. And we see that lot many students have a lot of interest in opting up these kind of courses, because see, if you see the kind of technology which is coming in, if we talk about, suppose YouTube, they are coming up with new kind of platforms, like they have shorts now. Now, if you talk about these kind of technologies, not only engineers or the scientists are behind developing these technologies, we also have people like coming from psychology, who knows how to play with human mind. They know how human brain works. Now, what happens when you interact with these kind of technologies, you never know uh, how many hours you basically invest in while interacting with these kind of technological world. Like shorts, if you just watch the YouTube shorts, you never know, you just spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like that. So it's not only the scientists or the engineers who are playing role. There are the psychologists, they are the people who are coming from different diverse areas of different educations also, who are helping these technological people to developing these kind of technologies, where people work with the technology or use the technology seamlessly. So we have varied variety of programs, like I earlier said, we have BA, BBA, and BSc. And a lot of traction is also coming from other kind of courses as well, like students also interested in courses like life sciences. We also have biotechnology, BSc in biotechnology. And then yes, we have this data science and artificial intelligence, where basically students take up these kind of courses to learn about new age technologies, like natural language processing, computer vision. uh, yeah, so that's it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing that, sir. There's a very interesting question that's come up, and I think that will lead to my next question as well. I'm going to quickly share the same question in the chat as well. The person is basically asking that even though the benefits of well-rounded growth in liberal education are great, but the main question, I think all of you answer this every day to parents as well, is the employment and job possibilities. Can you share certain tips and examples on that to answer that doubt that most of the kids have in mind when it comes to the job market with liberal education? Ms. Nupur?
So, see, I think we all need to understand, the students and the parents probably who have joined the session today, that normally with the conventional mindset, we have seen that to qualify for a certain job, you should be having a certain degree. And that's how they are currently looking at, after doing because we understand that this is a liberal arts degree. As I mentioned in my first point itself, that we can't really connect it like that. At Ahmedabad University, we firmly believe that any problem of the world that you are trying to tackle, and I'm talking about all the critical contemporary issues that we see in the world, whether it is the social unrest, the war situation, the climate issue, or anything like that, anything that's complex that you want to solve in the world, you would require liberal education. And placements, in terms of, if you actually go ahead and look at the data overall, not for a specific university, but otherwise also, even the tech organizations in today's world want someone who just does not bring the tech understanding or a tech education, but they want to hire someone who can bring where they have worked on skills like critical thinking, like problem solving, negotiations. All of these are very, very essential skills that liberal education really teaches you. Along with that, there's a hands-on experience that you get at Ahmedabad University, or any of these panelists that who are here. They come from some reputed universities, and every one of us are focusing on experiential learning. There's 65% of our students, and I'm talking about not just Ahmedabad University students, but overall in India, the trend that has been seen. And we need to acknowledge the fact that a bachelor's degree is not looked at as a terminal degree in India. The students really want to go ahead and study further. Only the students who come from a certain background where for them the requirement is to immediately find a job to support their family, they are looking for going into jobs. But otherwise, if you want to be successful in any career, you need to have a well-rounded understanding. Just having a BCom honors degree also in a conventional program would not give you a job like how you probably are seeking for. Okay, so in that sense, if I talk about to support the students throughout, we have a career development center, and how we go ahead and really plan for students is not for just the placements after their fourth year. We go ahead and help them we support them throughout their journey, those 4 years that they spend at Ahmedabad University, to build their profile, whether they want to pursue their education, they want to do their post-graduation after it, or they want to go back to their family business. There are a lot of family background students with family business background students come and study at Ahmedabad University. So they are basically seeking different kind of options after fourth year, and our career development center completely supports them to find that. Help them build profile. And from, if I talk about from banking, and I'm talking about the 2023 placement, the recent ones, whether it is from banking to finance to FMCG, from manufacturing, from textile, from technology and education, consulting, research, and media, there have been organizations who have come for campus placements at Ahmedabad University, and they have been employed. They've done their internships in certain organizations, and then they have been consumed further after they completed their degree in the same organizations. So I think it's just that we need to look at how even the employer today wants to recruit. They don't want to just recruit with technical skills. They want to recruit someone who comes with a better perspective, comes with better life skills, as we talked about. I think those are two important aspects which even the employers are looking at this point of time.
Perfect. Sure.
Education supports in that.
No, absolutely. I think that does give a good insight about how the university is tackling it. Ms. Anju? You mute, ma'am.
Yeah, I said it's absolutely valid that the parents are concerned, but I think parents need to understand that the job market or the way the industries are moving is way different than what it was maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago when we people started, and this is a very, very different way. And the terminologies of is the student employable has changed to is the student who graduates, is earnability quotient is a more important factor, the way the education really looks at. So if you're looking at just the placements, yes, the numbers and names are really fancy at Flame University. Students, so basically there are two pathways. One is the career pathway and one is the academic pathway. And we've had Flame students, 65% of them pursue academic pathway after their undergrad program. And if I may name some universities where our students land their postgraduate admissions, it could be like, all the fancy names that everybody loves to hear, right from Harvard, Columbia, Oxford, London School of Economics, UCLA, King's College London. The list is very long. It's up on the website. So there are students who go, and in this, one thing common that Abhishek, we've noticed is that most of our students who are getting in those top leagues are they're getting it because of the component of research in their undergraduate program. For example, the Discover India program, that based on that, we've had students like last year also get a scholarship at Oxford also. So this is something. So the academic pathway is very sorted with liberal education, because we are doing, I think, much more than any other conventional university is doing, all of us who are present here. Number one. Number two, when we're looking at the career pathways, uh, 40-50% of the students who actually apply for jobs, they do land up in very, very interesting companies. Again, the data is up on the website, whether it is, so we now, if they're doing a combination education, like I'm doing economics with journalism, or I'm doing psychology with computer science. I mean, these are very different kind of combinations that the students are studying. So they typically go under 6 areas of work industries. One is consulting, one is technology, one is financial services, because I think the FLAME itself stands for FLAME for management, business, liberal and management education. So again, a lot of business, finance, these subjects are very popular at the university. So we have a great amount of placements in financial services. We have a school of communication. So again, media, think tanks, and consumer industries. Names, yes, we have like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Credit Suisse, McKinsey, Deloitte, World Bank, World Economic Forum, Nike, Nestle, IKEA. I mean, you just name it, and every kind of industry that is looking at somebody who has the ability to create something, not just replicate. They're looking for people who are not only trained to deliver what they are asked to, but can build upon that. And like Professor Vandana is mentioning, it's about the skills that we are imparting in the education in liberal arts format. So I think parents, I don't think so we need to really worry. And also, as a parent myself, I can say that university doesn't become a good or a bad university by just immediate placements. You have to see a journey of a student 4 years after graduation, 5 years graduation. That's the real time when you see where the student has reached, and that does justice to education, not an immediate the same, because the goals are different. Nupur mentioned, like, I'll tell you frankly something very interesting. 40% who are not taking the academic pathway at Flame University are not, out of that 40%, 50% don't even apply for placements.
Yeah.
You know why? They become research scholars to so many professors around the universities in the entire world. I would say they go, they do research, and then they come back. Or some of them, they take a year experience in their family businesses or something which is available to them. Or maybe a project that they were doing, they want to continue and invest 1 more year. Please understand, this generation is not, sorry, I'll be using this word, which was tough for us. It is not about roti kapra makan for them. It is about satisfaction, happiness. They must feel that, if I'm doing this, I must feel I've added value. This is a very different generation. So I would request parents that please just support them. You don't know what beautiful things are going to happen with your children if you don't push them into the very rat race kind of a job. And I'm absolutely aware of a huge pool of students who come, and for them it is so important that the moment they finish their graduation, they must start earning their salaries. Yes, they do that also. It depends on your choice, actually.
I'll give you a decent. Yeah, please, no, Mr. Pur.
Can I just add to that? I think we all need to just say it out very loud that all these liberal education institutes, the universities, are preparing them well. We are enabling them to find what they would probably want to do after those 3 and 4 years of the program, the bachelor's program that they complete, and they'll be able to create that path for themselves. So see, the idea is to help them become a lifelong learner, help them make those right choices for themselves. And in those 4 years, we will make sure that every one of them, whatever they want to do, whether they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to go back to their family business, they want to pursue research, they want to do a PG program or a PhD program, whatever they want to do in their life, they'll be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what we have been focusing on, is to enable these young minds to pursue whatever they want to do in the life.
I'll just give you a very recent example of this kid from Flame. I was recruiting for Louis Vuitton in India last year, and I met this economics kid. I'm not sure if Masanju will remember. And he actually got selected. In fact, the problem was he couldn't convince his dad to join that role. That was such a nightmare. And I was like, coming from eco background, he landed a very interesting role because he had that background and the university prepared well, but that's where the stigma comes in, no? So I think this conversation does add a little value for parents, which is important. Miss Professor Vandana, what's your take on this?
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. This conversation is becoming very, very exciting and I think very meaningful also, And I would encourage everybody who's on board to visit the SRM AP website and look at all of the things that people have been speaking about their programs. But going back to your question, Abhishek, about a livelihood, right? And I think that is a fundamental question, I think not talking about it is there's an elephant in the room. So I think it's very important to make certainly parents and students, reiterate a couple of things. One is that there is no opposition between technology and society, right? There is no opposition between marketing business and working towards building a more inclusive society, right? We have been taught to think of these binaries from, conventional educational perspectives. And it's really time to start questioning them. And again, liberal arts is the space that is allowing such a fertile exchange of these traditional strongholds, right? To give two examples that I think maybe people in this audience might be aware of, everybody knows who Steve Jobs is, right? Right? Genius, right? But, where did the inspiration for some of the Mac technologies, Apple technologies, and the calligraphies, etc., do we really know where those inspirations, what were the sources of the inspirations for which eventually became a lot of the Mac software? I don't know. I'm not able to see the audience and interact with the audience. So I'll just tell you, this was when Steve Jobs was just, aimlessly wandering the streets, and he came across, a monk who was teaching calligraphy, old Latin calligraphy, which Steve Jobs really, studied for a length of time. And that was the source of a lot of work that Apple eventually went on to do. So the point is that there is no, this division between technology and society. I think is a very artificial division, and I think we should really question it. To give you another example, we all use GPS, right? More and more. But do we know how GPS changes its accent? You can have a Indian accent, you can have a British accent, you can have American, you can have all kinds of accents. So what does it take for a software developer, a coder, to really put this difference into code, right? So I think knowing that is just as valuable as knowing how to code. And the right part of it is that, the world of employers is really recognizing and valuing that. So I think liberal arts is in a strong footing as far as that is concerned, because we have complex young thinkers. We have young people who can think in complex ways, ways and pros and cons. And I think that is very, very, very important.
No, those are very good examples, and I think that's very well presented. Professor Rahul?
Yeah. So I think liberal arts education is more about choices. And as Professor Anju said, this generation is thinking of this generation is totally different than what we used to do in our times. And we used to have more inclination towards the professional degree courses, specialization in a particular area where we get training in a particular profession. And once after completion of the degree, we straightforward looked for a job to earn money or something. But now students' understanding and their interests are completely changed. They want to have a good experience as far as it comes to their education or their jobs or their career. So that kind of variability is available with the liberal education as well. And that's kind of a diversity which we are trying to offer to our student, where a student can learn one major, which may be psychology or philosophy, and another minor, which can be in computer science, or it can be in any other domain. So this kind of choices are available to these students, which were never available earlier. So with these choices comes the experience, and with the experience comes their goals and objectives. So overall goal or the objective of liberal arts education is different than the conventional educational system. So that approach basically brings a lot of freedom, and ultimately students get an open-minded education. So that is very much important. And as far as placement is concerned, in our institute, we have a placement cell where students can apply, and close to 600 companies visit to our campus on every year basis. All big names to startup companies to consultancy firms. So all big companies, almost all companies visit to our campus, and a student can always approach to placement cell. But like Dr. Anju said, the trend is slightly different. We also have two different paths, like we have career path and then academic path. And the kind of trend that we have seen in our school is students are mostly interested in higher education. We also have 3 years degree program and 4 years degree program, which obviously goes with the honors. But students, either they convert their 3 year degree program to honors, or they move for higher education for specialization in particular area. So what we do basically, what already the flame is also having, they have a kind of foundation, as I understand. We also have a foundation curriculum where students study various courses pertaining to different disciplines, and they also have choices for electives. So they can take certain electives in first year, first semester, and then second semester. And there are certain core courses which we have identified, which is related to certain skills, enhancing certain skills like problem solving, critical or analytical thinking, and writing skills. So something like this. So once they have a strong foundation, then comes the time where they are going to choose one of their majors and their minors. And after certain time, they can decide whether they want to extend their degree to the 4 year program as well. So when it comes to the learning part, we always encourage our student to have experiential learning. Now, this experiential learning comes with the projects, which always comes with the program. And also we have research projects available. So one kind of projects which students usually do with the biotechnology program or computer science program is the capstone project. So when they are studying different kinds of courses, they are basically building in the corner projects. So there are small projects which are the corner projects which they are building along the way. And then at the last semester, they have this capstone project, which gives them ability to think critically about the problem and solve real world problems. So basically, these are the design projects. And then they do also have opportunity to work with the professors on different projects, like research projects, where they can come up with some publications or research journals. So that kind of opportunities are also available with the students. So with the experience, the rich experience they have, they can later on go with the higher education or placements. But placement option is always available to the student. We also have this Center for Training and Development, which basically works with the students to improve their communication skills, general aptitude, so on and so forth.
Perfect. Great, Professor Rahul. Very quickly, I know all of you have certain things to tell about your university as well, about the admissions. So, Ms. Sanju would like to start first.
Ma'am, you're on mute. Can you? Yeah.
Self here. Sorry. Is that fine? Yeah. So it's a first Sunday, so I thought let me share this very interesting survey with the parents who had this question on basic existence of liberal education. Though I'm sure we've all forgotten the Nalanda and the Takshashilas, which were the core, I mean, the Guru Shishya parampara that we used to follow, and the curriculum that we followed attracted people from more than 200 countries, and we were doing liberal education, honestly speaking. And now that we go into this detail of how can you study psychology with computer science, or why should you study take up course in anthropology when you want to study business, or these questions often bother us because it's not the conventional. So this is the data that I want to show about some STEM majors and non-STEM majors, and I'll just take you directly to the website here. So let's go for the STEM majors. Now, how do you look at this data? Now, if you see the college majors are these science majors, okay? And then we have some occupation. So let's look at, the computers, people who study computer science, mathematics, and stats. Do you know less than 50% actually go and work in the same industry? Look at the others. Where are they going? They're in education, arts, entertainment, service, sales, agricultural, construction, social service, business, finance. They are everywhere. Look at the engineers. So this data is actually showing you that it is not, let me tell you, if I speak to some of my very esteemed professors, they say undergraduate degree is so overrated. Undergraduation should be, the purpose should be to go and learn as much and what you can, at least for this generation, where again, I like to go back. It's not that they have to and especially for those who do not have to just immediately start earning the next day that they step out. If they have that kind of time and blessings of their families or whatever, look at this. Somebody studying, physical sciences. Where are they actually studying? So this is something very interesting. Now let's go to the non-STEM. Non-STEM data science, engineering related. Look at this now. In even engineering related programs, how little of them are actually doing the computer jobs, and they are mathematics, they're engineers, life scientists, physical scientists, social scientists, architects, healthcare managers, and so on and so forth. Somebody in business is also going and working in a computer field. Somebody who's done maybe in education academia, somebody in PhDs and all, they're also going and working in a computer. So this data is very interesting. It is not only the STEM related careers that are important anymore. They are very important because of this whole growth of the technology, and now the generative AI and AI, ML, whatever, all of those things. So these are very important things, but it is not the end of it. And you must read and understand what all is happening around the world. The first focus should be that please allow your children to really go find themselves, who they are, what they like. And all of these universities present here provide an environment where the student can take that risk in a safe place. These universities, I think, are like laboratories. You experiment 10 times, and 11th time you pass. We'll make sure when you pass out from here, you'll be a good experience. You will be successful. But in this time, please take those risks. This is your place. Like we do businesses, right? You have certain risks. This is your time to explore, take risk, and figure out who you are. I think that's the whole journey of education, and undergraduate especially in today's world.
I think that's a very interesting census you showed, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. Ms. Nupur, do you have anything to present?
Yeah. So you want me to talk about the application admissions
Very,
process?
very quickly, just in a minute, if you want to give a quick brief.
Sure. So we do very holistic admissions at Ahmedabad University. We don't really believe in looking at students from a particular lens, and specifically academic lens only. So when we go ahead and admit students at Ahmedabad University, we look at both academics and non-academics. Our applications are already open for 2024. We are currently in the round 2. A student who wants to apply before their grade 12 results come out, they would have to begin with their grade 11th, their grade 10th and grade 11 scores precisely. And once they share that in the written application, which is online, the second segment is where they go ahead and showcase their non-academic achievements, which will include their extracurriculars and co-curriculars both. And today's the time when students really have tons of certificates and they've done so much of extracurriculars and co-curriculars, and they have certificates with that. What we would require to look at is that you can select any top 5 of your activities that you want to showcase as part of your application, enter the details of those along with the supporting documents. And then there's an essay that you need to write. So there are prompts you need to choose, and then you need to write an essay. And that essay basically would be a combination of a personal story and a statement of purpose. So basically, you are trying to go ahead and tell us that why you want to study at Ahmedabad University, why you want to study a specific subject or a discipline. If you haven't really made up your mind, that's perfectly fine. But what your inclination is toward, go ahead and talk about that in the essay. And that is, once you submit your written application, that is followed by a personal interaction that you would have to do, which is a 30-minute quality interaction that you do with the faculty of Ahmedabad University. So we take you through that particular process. Now, we do not require a letter of recommendations. If you have taken any of the standardized tests, whether it is SAT, ACT, or CUET, you can go ahead and share the scores, but it isn't mandatory. Okay. If you are applying again before your 12th results come out, we are only giving you a provisional offer if you get through the entire admissions process. We will give you a conditional offer. The condition would be that you would have to clear grade 12 with certain percentage. And then we will change your conditional offer into a confirmed offer. But you can also go ahead and choose to apply in the regular rounds once your grade 12 results are out. So these are earlier decision rounds, and then there's a regular round that will come. So we do rolling admissions at Ahmedabad University. There's no specific number of rounds that we have. We opened our admission sometime in November. We'll continue to do that till the mid of July, I would say. Normally, August is the time when we do the commencement of the batch. So yeah, so we have rolling admissions. We don't require LORs, as I said. And we would accept the standardized test results. So these are for non-engineering courses I'm talking about. For engineering courses, the route is through JEE. If you are interested in applying to any of our BTech programs, we currently offer 4 specializations: mechanical, chemical, electronic, and computer science. If you are seeking admission in the BTech program, then we would only admit you through the state program, the state exam that you give, or your JEE results. We unfortunately cannot admit students based on SAT for our BTech programs.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much. I think Ms. Sanju has also shared details of the admissions. Any last thoughts, Professor Vandana and Professor Rahul? And you can share the links for admissions in the chat itself. Professor Vandana.
Yeah, thank you. We ran out. I think we are almost out of time. So I will keep it very brief, and I'll share the admissions link in the chat box momentarily. I want to underline one thing, Anna, and I want parents, my co-panelists, and students to just hear me out here. You know, we hear a lot in every platform that we go to. There's a lot of talk about, jobs. There's a lot of talk about the potential and the wonder of technology. There's a much needed and definitely real emphasis on the need to develop business, right? But all of it seems to be pushing everything in a super fast forward mode, right? And I know that in India, we need it. Our economy had been stagnant for decades, right? And then there's a sudden transition and the economy has taken off. So I guess there's something very important happening there, and that needs to be acknowledged. But at the same time, right, I think it's very important to take the time at this moment in a young person's life to find time to reflect, right? To find time to understand what are some of the enduring concerns, that we as a society cannot give up, right? No matter what the context, no matter what the situation, there are certain universal human needs. There are certain universal human dynamics. And liberal arts is the space that helps students find that moment for reflection, find the moment for pause, find a way to express themselves, right? Whether it is in writing, whether it is in digital manner, but finding your feet at this moment in your life is very important for young people. And this is also going to result in a good job for you at the end of it, right? So I think we need to remember that, running fast is very important, but being strong as you run fast and making sure your foundations are strong, as strong as they can be, is something you get from liberal arts. So it's the best of both worlds. It's a blend of both worlds, and I, want to
Okay,
put
no,
that out
thank you.
there for everyone.
No, thank you so much for that, Professor Vandana. Professor Rahul, your last word. Say in mute.
I will just touch upon the admission side at Thapar School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So in Liberal Arts School, basically we consider 10+2 score, and with the 10+2 score, you have to apply. So usually the openings are there from October onwards. So it's like you have to fill the form with 10+2 score, and then after 10+2 score, you have to go through the interaction with the faculty. So there is this interaction panel. We have to have interaction close to 15 to 30 minutes interaction with the faculty members, and based on the recommendation, you get admission to the school. Apart from that, we have a second different track, which is SAT score. So if you have SAT score of more than 1200, then you need not to go for the panel interaction. And also like if with the 10+2, you have to also go through one of the written tests, which is psychometric test. So 10+2 score goes with the psychometric test, and if you cross the psychometric test stage, then you go with the interaction. With SET score, you have 12 more than 1200, then you directly go to the interaction, and then you can get admitted. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Professor Rahul. Mansi, I'm so sorry for extending this, but this was such a wonderful conversation. So big thank you to all four of you. It was quite insightful as always. I'll pass it on to you, Mansi. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you to all our panelists from all the lovely universities. I actually am going to quickly talk about the Mindler Scholarship and Talent Hunt. And what's really great is that all of these universities are our partner universities for this program as well. So I will promise to not take more than 5 minutes. I'm going to go really quickly. So if you all have any questions, I will also put my email ID down in case you have any questions that you would like to ask later. All right, let's quickly talk about that. There are scholarships worth up to 25 crore rupees that you can get. There are more than 3,000 scholarships that we've given to students in the past to our partnering universities. Other than this, there are 10 students who will also get 50% scholarship from Indian University to an Indian university from Mindler. Again, we have our metrics for this, and this is not something that we do disclose, but again, it is based on your performance through the Mindler Scholarship Talent Hunt. And the last bit is this session was an example of how you can discover, connect, and engage with leading universities to see if you're a great fit, right? Other than this, we also ensure that you can get on calls, write to them to see what are questions that you may have for particular universities. Other than this, what are very important key takeaways for students is that you get, of course, to earn a scholarship from one of the leading universities. Other than this, you get a chance to fill the Mindler Scholarship Assessment, where you will kind of discover what would be your best fit career paths, right? Because a lot of us aren't very sure of what is it that we'd like to do next. This assessment would help us do that. And like I mentioned earlier, you can explore courses and connect with universities to see if this is your dream university or if you're the best fit for that university. Last year, it was really great that we had the Scholarship and Talent Hunt launched by Dr. Kiran Bedi, and before that, we had Vivek Oberoi. All of them thought that this entire program was really beneficial to students from grade 12. Talking about the process and timeline for this program, there are very simple 3 steps. The fourth step is actually the results. So the first step is where you register. Again, this entire process is free. There is nothing that you have to do except invest, like, let's say, 1 hour of your time or even half an hour of your time. The second bit is your profile and your talent evaluation, where you go ahead, complete your profile and take the Mindler scholarship assessment. Again, the scholarship assessment is optional. If you feel that you're very sure of what domain you'd like to apply for, you don't have to give the scholarship assessment. And the third, of course, is to fill the scholarship preferences. That is, select which universities and courses that you would like to get a scholarship from. One thing that I would like to say is that all of these offers are going to be conditional. You have to then go ahead and crack the admission process to all of these universities. And another thing is that you will get scholarship from one university from one course. So let's say you've applied to 10 universities or 10 courses from one university, you get scholarship only from one, right? Let's quickly have a look at the student journey and what it would look like. Your first step is, of course, your profile. Your profile is very standard bit in terms of your name, email ID, phone number, which school did you go to, which course did you do, if you have any extracurricular details in terms of achievement, certification, leadership, internships. Again, this helps universities see what the background of a student is. And last but not the least is for you to share your academic details for us to ensure you're a genuine 12th grade student who is looking to apply for undergraduate admission in the year 2024, which is this year. Once that is done, we go on to the second bit, which is your Mindler scholarship and scholarship assessment. This is optional. If you feel like you don't want to do the scholarship assessment test, that's absolutely okay. If you feel like you want to, go ahead. These are the 6 parameters that you are tested on: your leadership quotient, your personality, your aptitude, your emotional quotient, your interest, as well as your work style. Once that is done, you will be able to see your best fit careers, right? Basis which you can decide which domains would you like to apply for. Again, if you want, you can, consider the assessment results. If you feel like you're very headstrong or what domain you'd like to go for, that is okay as well. Your third bit is your university preferences. So here on this stage, you're allowed to choose up to 3 domains. You can choose from all of these variety. There are more than 20. So let's say you want to go for commerce, economics, law, liberal education, anything, as there are 3 options that you can choose. After you do that, you give your country preferences in terms of would you like to study in India, would you like to go abroad. Post this, you will be able to see all the courses from all the partner universities for the domains that you have selected, right? So you can go ahead and see these are some of our partner universities for this year. There are a few more, but these are most of them. We also, of course, have Flame University, we have Ahmedabad University, we have Thapar, as well as SRM over here. Once that is done, once you select which courses, you have to then go ahead and put your priority. That means, is this your university 1 and course 1 preference? Then what is number 2? What is number 3? What is number 4? Right? The whole process is for us to see which university you are best suited for, and for the university to decide which student gets the scholarship. Right? This is literally the last step, and it does not take more than 15 minutes. Remember, one thing is, once you have submitted your preferences, you won't be able to change it. So I would say get in touch with your parents. If you have a counselor, some mentor that you want to discuss it with, and only then submit it, because once submitted, you can't go ahead and reselect your preferences, or you can't then choose different universities after. The last step is, again, this panel, of course, acts as a way for you to get in touch with the admission teams. But let's say you want a one-on-one call, or you want a one-on-one meeting. We also have created a space where you can reach out to these universities to get in touch with them to answer any further questions you may have about the university or the courses. It's really nice to, announce that we've had a lot of success stories in the past. Let's say, for example, Prakriti received 100% scholarship from HTI University for life sciences. At the same time, Adarsh received a 75% scholarship from Amrita in engineering and technology. Remember that, as you can see on the screen, that these scholarship offer letters are conditional. You can only avail the scholarship if you have done or completed the entire admission process. right? Other than this, if you feel like there are a few friends of yours who would also benefit from the Mindler Scholarship and Talent Hunt, you can go ahead and use your unique code. And every time a friend of yours completes the entire process, you can get an Amazon voucher from all of us. With that, I would like to quickly conclude right now. I know we have gone overboard, but if you have any questions, I'm going to put my email ID down and the phone number. Actually, Kirti will she's already put the email ID and the phone number of the person in case you have any questions. With that, I would like to once again thank our panelists for being here. And I'm hoping all the students who have attended are students you see in your universities very soon. With that, I would like to conclude today's session. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. And thank you for removing time today for this panel. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you.
Mindler.
Thank you.
All the best, everybody.
Thank you, Mindler. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. All the best to all the students and parents. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining.